It's day 33, time for another harvest. So last time on the right hand side I trimmed off the biggest leaves at the base, and those plants seem to have suffered more as a result in terms of development. The foliage is more lush on the left side, I would say, your left. So what I'm going to do is trim any leaves that are falling over and unable to stand on their own because they're a nuisance, and I'll trim a little bit of the foliage just evenly, kind of like mowing the lawn, so to speak, on the top, but not too much because I want these leaves to photosynthesize and generate more biomass for next week's harvest. So that's harvest number 2, or dividend number 2, and each dividend is equal to or greater in value than the original cost of all those 4 garlic bulbs together. Just as last time, you can see beads of liquid forming at the cuts. So I gave the plants a lot of leeway this time because I think maybe I trimmed away too many leaves or too much biomass in the first harvest. So I want future harvests to be more plentiful. But there are new shoots and they'll definitely contribute to harvest from here on out. And in the middle you can see new shoots as well. It's filling out. And this is a leaf that just kind of fell in the soil and I forgot about last time for the first harvest. It stayed green and hasn't died this entire time. It hasn't shriveled up, so that's pretty amazing. I'll see what happens. I'll just leave it there. As for the watering situation, the water tray is dry. The soil on top looks pretty dry too, so that means the roots have gone deep and they're drinking a lot of water, all of these plants. So I'm going to water thoroughly from top to bottom. If you look in the center here, there's a dead bug that's upturned. It died here last week and I just left it there. It died basically from the hydrogen peroxide flooding of the soil. So the hydrogen peroxide does work. I have no idea what species of bug this is and how it got to the 3rd floor balcony, but apparently garlic doesn't repel everything. I'm going to flood the pot again with a dilute solution of hydrogen peroxide. The concentration is not all that important in my mind for watering purposes. I just want to kill the bugs in the soil and provide oxygen to the roots. I got some fresh choice beef top sirloin, boneless, from the butcher. I had him cut it into smaller pieces so it's more manageable. It's not my favorite choice. I like tri-tip better as an economical steak to eat. It's got more fat in it. This grill is really dirty. So I just washed this grill and now I'm going to put the steak onto it. Fresh steak makes a world of difference if you get those prepackaged ones soaking in a bloody diaper. Basically, that stuff rots usually within 48 hours very quickly. So I'm going to season the steak with some of my old favorites. Some people don't like this, but I think it tastes fine. And basically what I was talking about with steak is if you go to a big box store, I'm not going to name any names, and you buy like $30 worth of steak in a package, basically that stuff rots really, really fast, I've found. But this stuff from the butcher, it smells fresh right out of the bag and it lasts for several more days. 4 minutes at 425 Fahrenheit, fairly arbitrary. And here I'm washing my second harvest. So it's not a whole lot, and it's best done in this metal strainer bowl. It's been 4 minutes. The steaks are largely cooked, although there's this annoying feature about the grill where steaks tend to stick to the top, as do other meats. I'm just going to take some tongs and transfer them to this pan, turn the heat on high on the stove, and let them sizzle for a while before I throw on the vegetables. Top sirloin is very lean meat in terms of protein composition. That's a really good thing. I left the fat on. It's very low fat in general, and now I'm pouring on the second harvest. So it'll take a while. I'm just letting the steaks kind of sizzle here before I do any stir frying. So I've never had all that much luck with top sirloin. I've had different methods. I even had a sort of a convection wave oven once, and that worked okay, but it was never as good as the fattier cuts. Like tri-tip always comes out tasting good. It's hard to screw up, but with sirloin it's so lean, it has a tendency to become a hockey puck essentially and taste like one. It makes sense to take away the smaller, thinner cuts of sirloin first, as well as all the garlic leaves, because they'll turn into these thin crisps, as you can see on this larger steak left over. Overall, the flavor was fantastic again for the garlic leaves, but I think I'll pass on the sirloin next time. It's just too tough of a cut.